Okay guys, so first and foremost, welcome to my new paint station, or at least my new video painting station. We've gone back to roots, we've gone back to my original paint station because I do think the lighting is actually better here. It's probably not quite as white, but you don't get the flicker. Right, so what have I got for you today? I have got 3 of the new plastic screamers of Tzeentch that I have built up, based and sprayed white. Okay, so one thing about the basing very quickly is I have chosen to put them on a brass rod, and I've drilled into the ball from the top of the mount that you'd normally put it on, like the rod, so that you can really play around with different heights. Okay, and the ball is just so that everything is still able to fit together. So I've drilled all the way through, as you can see, put a big blob of super glue there, and then hit it with some super glue activator just so it's set straight away. I haven't filled any of the gaps just because this is going to be a quick painting army, just so I can use it in games, because that's what I'm really excited about actually. But I like the idea of having a colourful, well painted gaming army with no mould lines, but maybe the odd gap here and there, which I'd normally be quite pedantic about. But anyway, so yeah, if you're going to be following this video, what you're going to need to do is base them up and spray them white. And then what we're going to do, we'll see in the next part. So for me, it's actually been a little while since I last did the video that you just watched, or the part of the video you just watched, because I did try some things out with these once I'd sprayed them white and it didn't work. So I've started afresh. I tried to use the washes a bit too much, so I've decided, rather than going white straight to wash, to do a base coat first. Now the base coat I've used isn't a Games Workshop colour, it is actually a Tamiya colour. That sounded weird, but yeah, it's a Tamiya paint, and the name of that Tamiya paint is medium blue, so it's actually kind of a greyish blue, and it dries this kind of grey colour. Okay, I believe that's the colour I used. Yeah, it is. It's this one. Okay, so that was XF18 medium blue. You could get away with using something like shadow grey. This isn't quite the same colour as shadow grey, but it's very similar. Or rust grey, I think it's called now. But anyway, so that is our base coat. As you can see, I started painting the base. That is just a base coat of dryad bark. Okay, so next up you will see what we're going to do next. Okay, so here you go. So after doing our base coat of medium blue from Tamiya colour, we then go over our models, or I have, with Guilliman blue. So that is the glaze paint from Citadel. Okay, and what this does is it just brings out some of the details without changing the colour too much, and it makes them a bit more blue rather than grey. Okay, I do apologise for my thumbs and fingers and stuff. That is red paint from Tamiya, which I'm using at the moment to paint some rust on another model, which you'll see later. But yeah, there we go. So I've done a glaze of Guilliman blue over the top of that. So now what we're going to do, we're going to start picking out some of the details. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to explain how I went about doing those. Okay, so there are some more base coats. So what I've done is I've kind of gone over, I'll go through them one at a time. I've gone over all the eyes with Avalon Sunset. I've then gone over all the teeth with Xandri Dust and all the little bones and stuff. I've chosen not to do the fins at the back as bone. I'm going to do them as really kind of edge highlighted blue to kind of represent more like a shark fin. I'm still not sure whether to do the ones at the back, so I might leave those for now. If I want to do them, I'll do them later. Okay, so that was exactly the same for this. So Avalon Sunset for the eyes, Xandri Dust for the teeth, and all the claws. I decided to do these back ones because they look a little bit more toothy. Okay. Again, same for this one, except the tongue was picked out with moot green. Okay, I just wanted that to tie in with my pink horrors, which are going to have moot green tongues as well, really bright green. Okay, so now I'm going to start putting some washes down, and I'll see you once I've done that. So there's some washes done. So what I did, I used Fugan or Fuegan, or the orange shade, over the eyes, to kind of pick them out and make them contrast better with the blue-grey. I then did a non-oil mixed with Agrax Earthshade wash over all the teeth and stuff, and then over the tongue was Coelia Green Shade, which is a kind of turquoise greeny wash, more towards the green side, but it is a kind of teal colour, and that's kind of picked it out quite nicely. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start highlighting these up. It's a natural process for me, so I can't really tell you what I'm going to use just yet, but I'll make sure I let you know in the next section. So we've done our highlights. I'm going to take you through what I've done bit by bit. So after the washes, I'll start with this one. Ah, no! There we go. Okay, so anyway, right. After the washes, we did a bit of highlighting. So I started off with the eyes. So that was the two new yellows I used, which I can't remember. I think it's Aerial Yellow and Flashgitz Yellow, I think. I can't remember exactly, but it was the dark yellow and then the lighter layer yellow, and then just a little dot of white in the corner, picking out all the pupils with a bit of Abaddon Black, which is quite good. All the horns and teethy bits were done with Ushabti Bone and then Screaming Skull, and that was pretty much it really. It's just a matter of kind of doing quite thin, careful highlights on those. I am going to do a bit more highlighting on the backs and on the scales just to break it up a bit and make them a bit more interesting, because they are just a bit blue at the moment, which is fair enough, but not quite what I'm looking for. It's a bit boring. So this one was painted in exactly the same way. Okay, and then this one, the only difference, it's all the same, but the only difference was the tongue. So the tongue was highlighted with Flashgitz Yellow, and then given a glaze, well, two glazes of Waywatcher Green, just to bring it back to a very green, luminous, bright green. Okay, so we're going to carry on with a bit more highlighting. I'm going to do a few more bits and bobs. Like I said, it is a fluid and organic process with me painting these. I'm kind of making it up as I go along, so I will tell you what I did in the next section. We're really getting there now, guys, so it's pretty much finished, almost. All I really had to do was pick out a few more highlights. So if I pop this one away and this one for now, let's have a look at this one. What I did is I just re-highlighted over the back. Now, bear with me a sec, I've hidden the paint. What paint was it? It was Light Sea Grey XF25 from Tamiya Colour that I used to highlight that. And that's just on those scales, really. Okay, I've done that on all the little dots on these guys' backs as well, and it's just broken up the models a little bit more. It's given them another texture. Oh, it's not focusing. There you go. The ones with the dots, I went over again though. I glazed them again with the Guilliman Blue. Then I went on to the bases, really. I base coated the bases with Dryad Bark, dry brushed them with XV88, and then dry brushed them with Tyrant Skull. The stones were picked out with Mechanicus Standard Grey and then dry brushed with Tyrant Skull. The little skeleton that's on this one's base, you probably just about see there, that was dry brushed with Praxetti White as well. The edges of the bases were painted Abaddon Black, so were the stands, just to make just to hide them a little bit. And that was it. So there we go. So I'm just going to do some weathering with some Model Mate stuff and then put the grass on and we will be done. And there we have it, they're finished. So what did I do in that last stage? Well, if I remember right, I've done all the bases, I've done all that, I've told you how I did that. What I was going to do was a bit of weathering and finishing on the bases. So if we have a look at this one, I don't know if we'll be able to because of the lighting. The skeleton, I actually went over it with Model Mate's Moss Green. The reason I chose to do that was that I wanted to break it up and make it look a little bit different from the groundwork. Okay, once that had dried, I got some PVA glue, randomly dotted it around the base and got some scorched grass from Games Workshop and scattered that over the top. I've also put some Midland grass tufts onto some of these as well, as you can see here and here. The glue's not quite dry yet, so it still looks white, but you won't be able to see that later on. Okay. So for the shield, this one's going to be really hard to see actually. I did the same thing. I went over the actual shield itself with the moss green, dabbed it off a little bit on a cotton bud or a Q-tip, and then I painted over the metalwork with Model Mate's Rust Effect. And that was pretty much it. Same recipe for every single one of these. Really enjoyed painting them, and I think it's taken me less than 2 hours to paint 3 models. It's 120 points in the game, so that's quite a substantial unit to get done quite quickly. I've got another box of these to do, and I'm quite looking forward to doing them. So I hope that's been useful for you. As I say, it's never just a how-to. This is just how I do it. You can paint your models however you want. These are just recommendations. Feel free to change the paint scheme to whatever you want. Take the same ideas away from it, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'll see you all soon, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.